गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत्कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलं तु यः पश्यत्यकृतबुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः। यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वापि स इमां लोकान् न हन्ति न निबध्यते। ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना करणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः। ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्। पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्। यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् नियतं सङ्गरहितं मरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते। यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासं तद्राजसमुदाहृतम् अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्ष्य च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामस उच्यते। मुक्तसङ्गो n'हं वादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्यो निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते। रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुः लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः अयुक्तः प्राकृतस्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिकोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतैश्चैव गुण गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतैश्चैव गुण गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धि सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धि सा पार्थ राजसी अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश बुद्धि सा पार्थ तामसी धृत्यायया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसङ्गेन फलाकाङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु I think we were in verse 28. Should we repeat Tamas Karta? I believe Satvik Karta we had done. Tamas Karta also we had done once. Should I repeat, Brahmaraji? If somebody can guide. Okay. I will. Rajas Karta, I think we did yesterday. Nanaji also. 28, I think he took. I will just quickly browse through Satvik Karta, the last paragraph, Tamasic, Rajasic Karta, last paragraph, and Tamasic Karta, last paragraph. So the Satvik Karta, the one who is free from attachment, who has no egotism, who is endowed with resolve and enthusiasm, and is perturbed in success and failure, is called Satvika Karta or Satvika doer. Dhrityutsaha Samanvita he is. Then Rajasic Karta, the one who has a predominance of raga and a predominant desire for the result of action, who is greedy, whose nature is to hurt, who is not, and who is subject to elation and depression is called Rajasa doer. So he is Karma Phala Prepsu. Ashuchi he also from inside as well as outside. And the third type of Karta is Tamasa Karta, the one who is disturbed, immature, irrelevant, deceptive, cruel, lazy, given to sadness, and a procrastinator is called a Tamasa Karta. I think this also we had done. Should I repeat or we can go ahead with
Jai Gurudev, can you please repeat?
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So, Tamasa Karta. The word yukta or ayukta, it is typing mistake. The word ayukta refers to one who is not together, a person who is disturbed. He cannot apply his mind properly, and therefore his thinking and behavior are improper. And he has a mind that is prakrita, immature. Even though he may be in his 40s, his mind remains like that of a child because he has not undergone adequate educational discipline, the discipline of proper thinking, etc. When this is the situation, it would be natural for him to be very humble, but he is not. He is stabdha, irreverent. Shankara says, remaining like a stick, unbending. He does not prostrate to anybody. Dandavata, na namati kashmaschit, kashmaichit. There is no question of any kind of surrender to anything because he is absolutely irreverent. Then further, he is Shatha, very deceptive. He can be so deceptive that he can present himself as though he is not deceptive. In other words, he is an impostor and he is Naishkritika, which Shankara says is someone who is intent upon destroying somebody. He is cruel. Morose is another meaning for Naishkritika, but cruel is more appropriate here. Moreover, he is alasa, completely lazy. He is not capable of doing the things that are to be done. So, Stabdha, he is Naiskrita and Prakrita. Please remember this word. Prakrita, Prakrita, Stabdha, Shatha, Naishkriti, Alas, Alasaha. And he is Vishad, one who is always given to sadness. Sadness is not a bad thing as long as one is addressing it. In that case, the person is Satvika. But if you don't address the problem, tamas is predominant. Here we have a person who is more or less always depressed, but does not do anything about it. Even if someone tells him what to do about it, he will postpone doing that because he is a Dirgha Sutri, a procrastinator. The things that are to be done, he does not, but postpones day after day indefinitely. Shankara says that is to be done today or tomorrow, he does not do even in a month. This is all because he has a disposition. which is dull, and he is called a tamasa karta. Having talked about the three kinds of karma, action, and karta, agent, and also the three kinds of jnana, knowledge, Bhagavan is now going to discuss that very faculty, the buddhi, where the knowledge exists in a threefold way. Earlier, he had mentioned dhriti, resolve, as a quality of a sattvika karta. There we had noted that dhriti need not be sattviki. It can as well be rajasi or tamasi. What he has resolved, what exactly he is committed to, determines whether it is sattviki, rajasi, or tamasi. In these verses, we are just getting into the mind and seeing its various conclusions, its knowledge, and its thinking processes in terms of motives, etc. If you go into all the different possibilities in terms of sattva, rajas, and tamas, that have been laid out in chapter 16 and chapter 17. And here in chapter 18, you will find that it is a beautiful analysis of various attitudes and their outcomes, such as what is a good process of thinking, what is wrong thinking, and what is no thinking, etc. So it is about the tamasic karta who is ayukta, who is not together, who is prakrita, who is immature, who doesn't bend down to any, who has no humbleness. He is stabdha or irreverent. He is also shatha and naishkrita. Naishkrita means deceptive, but pretend to be not deceptive. He is also alasa. He is lazy. He is also vishadi, who remains in depression, and he knows he is in depression, but he doesn't do any action to address that depression. Then he is dirghasitri. He is a procrastinator. He doesn't put into action. He just remains in the daydreaming. He keeps on postponing the things to be done, and that is why he has dull prakriti. So he is called tamasa karta. So here the beautiful analysis of mind is given, and what is the right process of thinking, what is the wrong process of thinking, and what is the that Bhagavan has beautifully what is no thinking also. It is given here as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and it has been repeated from 16, 17, and now in 18th chapter. Yeah. Kindly share your understanding.
Can you read this last paragraph, having talked about three kind of that one?
Yeah, sure. Having talked about the three kinds of karma, action, and karta, agent, and also the three kinds of jnana, knowledge, Bhagavan is now going to discuss that very faculty, the buddhi, where the knowledge exists in a threefold way. Earlier, he had mentioned dhriti, resolve, as a quality of a sattvika karta. There we had noted that dhriti need not be sattviki. It can as well be rajasi or tamasi. What he has resolved, what exactly he is committed to, determines whether it is Satviki, Rajasi, or Tamasi. In these verses, we are just getting into the mind and seeing various conclusions, its knowledge, and its thinking processes in terms of motives, etc. If you go into all the different possibilities in terms of sattva, rajas, and tamas that have been laid out in chapter 16 and chapter 17, and here in chapter 18, you will find that it is a beautiful analysis of various attitudes and their outcomes, such as what is a good process of thinking, what is wrong thinking, and what is no thinking, etc.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Dhriti, even Hitler had as given by the example, but it was tamasic Dhriti. So it depends on your motive, your attitude. Yeah, kindly share your takeaways, please.
Hari Om. So it is the mind which decides you, which makes your nature, no? Whether it would be sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So what you feed your mind, that is what is the result of it. When we go into all tamasic things, then we turn everything, our knowledge, our action and thinking, all all it becomes tamasic. So it is what we feed our mind is so important, and to have a check on what is going inside. I was just Dr. Mara shared that Chinmaya missions, that doctor, there was a neurologist who was explaining about the chanting, no? After that, some sessions came of automatically, in YouTube it comes, the sessions of Oh My Mind. I was listening to them these days. So they are so informative. How is that that mind is so important in our this body mind complex. This utmost important is your mind, which decides your future basically. So yesterday what I was listening was that you should not desire. Desire means like it is not related to this. I'm sorry, but it was so important. I wanted to share. Desire, you should not have any desire. And when thing comes to you, then only you desire. In that way, you will be basically you will be not in control of your mind. Then you will be free of your mind. Because we read, no, you should have no desires. You should then you will be free from that karma phala also. So if the food comes in front of you, then you think that, oh, I have to eat food. Yes, I am hungry. So at that level, he was explaining. So it was very, very nice series are those, Oh My Mind. And it is those are the Marathi. They are shlokas, Marathi shlokas. Manashe shlok. It's the heading is Manashe shlok. and they are in Marathi, but when listening to them, because all the languages have come from Sanskrit, so it is I'm finding them a mixture of Sanskrit and Hindi. So
Is
many
it
words.
is it Manatse Shlok by
Yeah,
Swami
right. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Ramdas?
By Samarth, Guru
Yeah,
Samarth.
Swami,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Ramdas Swami.
And
Yeah.
yeah, they are so beautiful. Like just like an eye opener, and like just like a guiding light. They are very beautiful. He talks about the mind only, how different aspects of mind, and how the mind is so important that you can uh, change your life aspect, your everything, because it's basically the mind. Out of the four, the what you call that chatushtaya antakarna. So antakarna means the mind, intellect, chit, and ahankara. So out of that, the mind is so important. Yeah, just wanted to share this.
Yeah, very beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Doctor. Very nice.
On the lighter note, when my daughter had gone for samskara class, that was of course, in Belgaum in Marathi. So they were teaching some shlokas, and I knew that they are going to teach these Manache shlok. Manache shlok is like what Savitaji says, Man ke shlok. Man, it was to do with man, how man works and all. So when she came back, I asked her, so did they teach you Manache Shlok? So she said, no, 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 no. They looked into the book and read it. Sorry, this may not registered as a joke, because when it is in Marathi, it is very funny. Like, she thought that I am asking, did they taught you Manache Shlok, in the sense, without seeing any book, जन मन के श्लोक बोल रहे थे क्या? She said, no, 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 it's from the book only they read.
Yeah, correct, correct. They have that impression that is
Yeah, and she didn't know what was Manache
by
Shlok.
heart.
Yeah. But those are beautiful shlokas for the common people who don't understand Marathi. Beautifully, what is man, beautifully narrated. Very nice.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. It is true, it is all about the mind. But there is an intimate connection between the mind and the body, which is what we have seen. Food affects the body. Whatever food we eat affects the mind as well. So it is an intimate relationship, which is why Bhagwan has mentioned in, I think, 16, 17 chapters, what is sattvic food, what is rajasic food, what is tamasic food. So food also affects our mind. So it is actually an interplay of what we feed the body and what we feed the mind. Feeding the mind comes through all the other five senses. Feeding the body, of course, we feed through the mouth. So it is what is exactly fed to the mind and body is what reflects on our kind of thinking. And when it comes to desires, I have full respect to what was shared. I'm not sure about this, oh my mind, but it is not that you should not have desires. Need-based desires are required for us to live in this practical world. Second, we should have non-binding desires. It's all right to have non-binding desires, not binding desires. Without desire, you cannot live, right? Even the desire to get up from bed, it is a desire. The desire to listen to knowledge, the desire to do sadhana, it is all stemming from that desire, if you look at it. So being in a state of desirelessness is not what we're looking at. We're looking at being in a state where we are in a state where we are not bound by desires. And then by and by, as we are in this path, the nature of our desires also will change. Rather than wanting to do something which is tamasic or rajasic, it will slowly move. That refinement happens in the dhriti. I think that is what we're going to see in the next few verses. So then your desires also will become more sattvic. Wanting to chant or wanting to listen to knowledge, wanting to share knowledge. So these desires also will change. Because nobody can be without action. That is what Bhagavan had said. Without a desire, there is no action. But whether you are hooked on to the result of the desire or not, that becomes a determining factor, or whether it's a binding or a non-binding desire.
And the role of samskara is also there, no? Man, of course,
Of
antakarana.
course,
Yeah.
of course. Samskara has a big role to play. And also what vasanas we build up in this life. What are our habit patterns that we build up in this life? That is where our free will comes in. See, you can choose to just sail around with your whatever the previous vasanas or previous samskaras and not do anything at all. But are you willing to take that one step? That is the free will. Which is why I think that one step you take, 99 steps Bhagwan or the divine will take. So taking that one step becomes is an element where free will is required. You put in that self-effort. Yes, I want that. Mumukshutva is that one step.
Yeah, he was talking about the desires in the materialistic world which we have, which binds us. So, for getting free from those desires, like you have those vasanas, or you have like your preferences are there, that you like this, you don't, to get yourself away from that raga dosha. He was talking about that. Uh, it's not that you don't have any desire, because though he was talking like uh, to have moksha also, it is a desire. So it's good that this is a sattvic desire, but it is a desire. So mainly to basically to evolve oneself, you have to get away from the raga dvesha. So to get away from raga dvesha, then in that aspect he was talking that your desires should be less. Like you should not think that I should possess this, I should have this. In that aspect he was saying.
No,
Otherwise,
that is
yeah.
that is true. That is good. Which is why I said, I mean, it should be under, all these things should be understood in the context in which they were given.
Yeah.
Same with Bhagavan, same with Gita. We cannot just off quote any shloka. It should be within the context and understood within that.
Yeah, actually, every statement which is given in Gita also, or in other Veds also, I think they all have, they come from certain background. So until unless, if a statement is given, it is like in which context it is being said. So that is important to understand. Otherwise, we'll carry again a wrong message, right? You explained it very nicely, Dr. Brahma.
And I'm just dwelling back on what on Nana's session yesterday. I realized that he, in the way he was explaining, he took us to a different platform altogether with this, using this Atma Jnana and the backdrop of this Atma Jnana, how we deal with people, situations in the world. I felt it was like bringing us to that point of elevation where even these little things don't really matter, even where you a point where those 5 points also are not required, because you're going beyond those 5 points of the knowledge of our happiness course. So when you're dwelling in this adhyatma or advaita jnana, that the atma is not the doer, then you are beyond that seeing intention behind others' mistakes, accepting people. There is no question of that, because you already have elevated yourself so much, isn't it? So you will just do what you have to do without hooking on to. I can understand from where you came. I just wanted to go back to this. Sorry, I'm deviating a bit, but I thought because yesterday we didn't have enough time to do this. I am a perfectionist. I was a perfectionist. I still am to a certain extent, but I have kind of relaxed the reins a little bit. So when you are a perfectionist, what is a perfectionist? He or she wants a particular thing done in a particular way. So the hooking on is to the result of the action more than how the action is actually done, isn't it? So the result is what you want. You want a house to be clean. So if the house is not clean, then it ticks you off. So we are hooking on to the result of the action. Well, you've told your
No,
whoever.
I'm also a perfectionist. I not totally, but as you have said that you have loosened yourself. Similarly, I have loosened myself to a great extent. But in some matters, no, you cannot take it for it is happening. Let it happen, because if it's suppose the meals time is there and meal is not prepared, suppose we are eating it 9:30, 10, that would lead to all disturbance of the next day. So these things which where we cannot compromise, I only stand there. Otherwise I don't bother much. Cleanliness, not I'm very mad about everything should be pick and pen and not it should not be things should not be disturbed. It should be kept there where they are to be. I'm not that particular. It's only that in some things which are to be done at most important is the time factor, that they are done on time. Otherwise, suppose the dressing of the dog is to be done, and it is to be done between 10 to 12, suppose, and sometimes you will get late. It's done at 2 o'clock. So, but that I think that it is a thing which is to be done, and it is only if we think about him that his dressing is to be done. So we have to do. But if the second person doesn't uh, think that this is also important, you are seeing from your aspect, okay, it's just a dog. You don't need to worry. We'll do it after few hours. So that attitude, I sometimes it hurts, because he cannot speak, he cannot relate. So he is dependent on you. So at that time, when things sometimes they are, and if he's not available, suppose, then I call somebody else. But dog is not friendly with all people, no. So that things happen sometimes. And meals, basically the meals time, the meal if is to be cooked and we have to eat by 8:30 or 9, then he's coming at 8:30, 8:20. How can he make food? Or if he is not, if he's coming late, then he should tell me that today I'll get late. You take care of it. So I'll do it. It's not a matter of that. After waiting and then cooking, things get so late. You are eating so late. So basically the time factor is there. And in case of suppose a small incident of the driver, he cleans the car from outside, but he never cleans inside. I've been repetitively telling him that it's not daily that you have to do, but you should at least in a week you can clean it inside, no? Because when you sit there is dust. So it is these are the things which sometimes you feel that people take you for granted just because you are not very hard in or harsh in speaking. So they take you for granted. And then one fine day, I took myself and I cleaned 2 cars at a stretch and whole from inside. It took me around 1 hour, but I said, okay, fine. If he's not doing, then I'll do it. So it happens that way. I don't speak harshly, but inner thing that my mind goes into turbulence at that time. I want to get out of that, and it is not the thing of doing work. I'm not at all lazy in doing things. Uh, like from morning 4:15 or 4:30, after getting up, I sit at 12 o'clock in the noon only, because things keeps on going on. So it is not about laziness. It's only that turbulence you have when things are disturbed. In a few 1 month back, we closed our medical store for some reason, and we have to revise all the medicines. So in that case also, things were like people weren't taking initiative. So if I am there, they'll all work together, they'll come, they'll all be helping. But when I am not there, nobody takes responsibilities. So I find that if I step in, everyone will come and they will stand. But if I am not there, they will slack back and they will sit. Nobody takes responsibility or initiative. That happens in my house. Like, I'm openly saying it, but this is what happens. Like, nobody takes the initiative. If I'm not there, the food would not be cooked in time, and they'll not decide what is to be cooked. And like in hospital also, like everything, sometimes I find, why is it that I am aware so much and these people do not have a little bit of awareness of time, things, and how the thing is to be done. So that sometimes make my mind in a like you get, sometimes you get frustrated, and that is though it has lessened a lot, but in between it does erupt. I'm not totally free from that state. This happens in like a few days, it would be okay, fine, then one fine day something will come, then again that day doesn't last for uh, hours or so. It's only for a few minutes only. It will, that state of mind is only for few minutes. But why does it come? I want to get relief of from that situation. That is why I was finding that samatva bhav. How can I develop that so that all my complaints goes away? This is what I was thinking, and I had in my back of mind.
Samatva bhav can be there, but some actions, whatever we used to behave with them, that should not be the same. Samatva bhav should be there, but some
No, the
vyavhar should
behavior
not be
remains
there.
the same. I'm not. It is not.
You have to see how you can behave and change the situations.
Yeah,
Samabhav is
the
okay, but
situation.
vyavhar is
Actually,
different.
situations are not in my hand. No, that it is not that they are behaving like this, so I behave with them badly. It is not that also. my behavior doesn't change.
You have
I
many this thing also, options also to have them or not have them and save your mind and do all things. The world will be like this. You have to accept and let go and do whatever is best for you.
I have what I have after listening to Nanaji's session yesterday, what ultimately what I concluded, that it is that some people are born, they get easily, they do not have to strive much, and some people they have to strive hard. So I am of that category, and it is my prarabdha basically. I feel that how how you can say, I try to do things and with full efforts, but uh, still you have to go through that hardships, like you have to manually,
But
physically you
Savitaji,
have
I
to.
think who respect your time, you should respect their time. If they are helpful, then okay. Otherwise, you have to find the options also. Once or twice, you can give them warnings and save your mind also.
It is such that he's with us from last 28 years. It's not that I have bad feelings for him.
So he
It's
must be
only
getting
his
older. He
discipline.
must be
Actually,
having health problems, mind
no,
problems,
no,
all this.
he's not having those problems. Actually, he is working elsewhere also, and that he gets late. Like, and he's switching his jobs. Like sometimes he's doing some other job, and it is not going well. Then he switched to another.
So when he is
That is
prioritizing himself, why don't you prioritize yourself?
because other family members, they'll not uh, they'll not, they don't want to basically.
So
And
let
even
them
I
share his
also feel that.
responsibility, family members. Let them share his responsibility then if it is troubling to you only. And they are
they
so you don't give
actually
them that
they
chance ki
my
only
mother,
you are doing.
yeah,
Okay.
it is that also, because my mother-in-law lives with me. She's 87 years old. My husband, he has a hectic this thing this work. So he's like busy. He's not available in the house. And then no other person is there. I take the help of other people in the hospital during the day. If he's not there, then I call somebody else and I do the work. It happens that way also. But at night nobody is there. So,
If you
and
can go for,
there's my
if you
dog.
go for holiday, how will this home will run? Just find out.
Yeah, I know. I when I go on a holiday, suppose I go to my mother's place, then he's serving them dinner at 9:30, 10. This is what happens. So,
So at that
but
time you go walk for walk. He has a
no, I
responsibility
don't
to
go for
feed.
walk in the evening, but it is
You have
not
to be
that.
very skillful. Sorry,
Yeah,
we are taking so
I
much
I
time.
try
Sorry.
to be skillful. I'm learning. So this is what I came to conclusion, that I have to still learn.
You are
And
not running from your responsibility, but everybody has a responsibility, no? So we have to prioritize our Adhyatma marga also and do whatever is needed.
yeah,
Yesterday,
this
Nanaji's session
time,
was so good, so good. These are very, very small questions. So when you again revisit that yesterday's session, you will
yeah,
get answers to your questions
no,
again.
no,
So
I
whenever
got
you
answer
will have this
yesterday.
type of samatva bhav, go to that session again
Yeah,
and again.
yeah,
This should
right.
be the
Jai
regular
Gurudev,
practice now.
Yeah,
can I say something? This is, and
Yes, please.
sorry,
I'm
I'm not
sorry if
cutting.
I have hurt
I'm,
anyone.
no, no, no. I am not hurt or anything. And sorry, I'm not cutting into your conversation. I have uh, after listening to the three types of mind and how people do things, if you're tamasic and characteristics and like that, rajasic, sattvic. I want to know if maybe I missed it, but is there anything where Krishna says about the thinking process of these three types of energies?
That is what
Like,
I think the next few shlokas is all about.
Next,
The Dhriti.
it will come in the
Oh,
next,
okay.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
at that point now.
Yeah, because I had an opportunity. Something fell on my lap, and I should have taken it, but I used my, I don't know what brain, tamasic, rajasic, definitely not sattvic. In my thinking process, I did some thing and I let go of that opportunity. And then I realized just now, Dr. Savita said, no, somebody have to work hard and they don't get it. Somebody don't do anything and they get it. I was in that category. I didn't do anything, but I got it. But my thinking prevented me from taking that opportunity. So I just wanted to know, is there any thinking process for these types of energies? Okay, we'll wait for the next slokas.
Next shloka is about the mind only. Sattvic mind, Rajasic. Yeah, we can continue.
I want to know
may
the thinking process because that is where I made a mistake.
Thinking is done by the mind, no? So we'll be reading the mind ahead, the threefold divisions of mind. The thinking process is by mind. The rationalizing what is good and what is bad is done by intellect. And then the chit is the memory, and then ahankara is the I. So it is it is that thinking is
But
done by mind.
thinking process will include the intellect, isn't it? Without the intellect, you think.
Thinking is done by mind because he will think in various aspects of life. No, if a situation is given, you will think in various in many dimensions. You will think, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what is the right? Only the intellect can guide you. That rational thinking
Okay. Okay.
would
Okay.
be
I
the
got it.
intellect. Yeah.
Okay.
So
got
mind
it.
is like
Thank you.
just like the wild horses going wild. It can go in any direction. Thinking is.
So, is there a way to rein in the mind? That's probably where
Yeah,
I'm
you
looking at.
listen to
Okay.
the O Mind series. It is very, those series are very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah.
Hari Om, may I request someone to take over after I read the shloka, please? If somebody is available, I'll be leaving for
I'm
now
happy
3
to read. I can read.
Yeah, I will not be able to share the screen as well. So,
Okay, let me get to my computer then. Give me
yeah,
2
no
minutes.
problem. I'll read the shloka meanwhile, the next shloka. Yeah, Dhanyavad Sumaji. Dhanyavad. So I repeat the last paragraph once again. Having talked about the three kinds of karma, action, karta, agent, and also the three kinds of jnana, knowledge, Bhagavan is now going to discuss that very faculty, the buddhi, where the knowledge exists in a threefold way. Earlier, he had mentioned dhriti, resolve, as a quality of a sattvic karta. There we had noted that dhriti need not be sattviki. It can as well be rajasi or tamasi. What he has resolved, what exactly he is committed to, determines whether it is sattviki, rajasi or tamasi. In these verses, we are just getting into the mind and seeing its various conclusions, its knowledge, and its thinking processes in terms of motives, etc. If you go into all the different possibilities in terms of sattva, rajas, and tamas that have been laid out in chapter 16 and chapter 17, and here in chapter 18, you will find that it is a beautiful analysis of various attitudes and their outcomes, such as what is a good process of thinking, what is wrong thinking, what is no thinking, etc. So the next verse. बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतैश्चैव गुणतत्स्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय धनञ्जय ओ धनञ्जय अशेषेण completely पृथक्त्वेन severely severe kindly correct me severely if my pronunciation is wrong
Severally.
पृथक्त्वेन
Prithaktvena, severally. Yeah.
धन्यवाद severally प्रोच्यमानम being told गुणतः according to guna buddhehe of the mind dhriteh cha eva and of the resolve trividham threefold bhedam difference shrunu please listen dhananjaya asheshena पृथक्त्वेन प्रोच्यमानं गुणतः बुद्धेः धृतेः च एव त्रिविधं भेदं शृणु O Dhananjaya, please listen to the threefold difference according to guna of the mind and of the resolve that is being told completely and severally. I repeat, O Dhananjaya, please listen to the threefold difference according to guna of the mind and of the resolve that is being told completely and severely. I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce it correctly. Kindly forgive me. Sumaji, are you able to take over? I will read till she comes. Here, Bhagwan addresses Arjuna as Dhananjaya, the one who has won a lot of wealth. Arjuna earned this title by winning many battles from which he amassed not only worldly wealth but celestial wealth like the Pashupatastra. That was the Ayudha. Addressing him thus, Lord Krishna tells him, Prochyamanam Shrunu. Please listen to what is being told now. What is being told now is the threefold difference in the buddhi. Buddheha bhedam trividham. Previously, we saw how knowledge was divided into the three types. Now, the buddhi is being divided. And buddhi is, after all, jnana. So here a doubt is possible. Have these difference not already been told? What is the difference between buddhi and jnana here? Shankara clarifies this for us. Buddhi is the faculty of thinking, while jnana is the actual thought modification, vritti, which obtains in the buddhi. Very important, I repeat. Previously, we saw how knowledge was divided into three types. Now, the buddhi is being divided and buddhi is, after all, jnana. So here a doubt is possible. Have these differences not already been told? What is the difference between buddhi and jnana here? Shankara clarifies this for us. Buddhi is the faculty of thinking, while jnana is the actual thought modification, vritti, which obtains in the buddhi. Even though there is no buddhi without vritti and no vritti without buddhi, there is a thinking faculty in general, and therefore we make this distinction that jnana obtains in the buddhi, while the buddhi has jnana in the form of a vritti.
Okay, I'll share now.
Yeah.
Which
Dhanyavad.
page is it?
This is page
233.
233.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes, Sumarji.
Last paragraph, I think.
From here, no?
Yeah.
Then again.
You can repeat if you wish. It is very, very nice and very important too.
Okay. O Dhananjaya, please listen to the threefold difference according to guna of the mind and of the resolve that is being told completely and severally. Here Bhagavan addresses Arjuna as Dhananjaya, the one who has won a lot of wealth. Arjuna earned this title by winning many battles from which he amassed not only worldly wealth but celestial wealth like the Pashupatastra. Addressing him thus, Lord Krishna tells him Prochamanyanam, Prochamanam, Prochamanam Shrunu. Please listen to what is being told. What is being told now is the threefold difference in the buddhi. Buddheha, Bhedam, Trividam. Previously, we saw how knowledge was divided into three types. Now, the buddhi is being divided, and buddhi is, after all, jnana. So, here, a doubt is possible. Have these differences not already been told? What is the difference between buddhi and jnana here? Shankara clarifies this for us. Buddhi is the faculty of thinking, while jnana is the actual thought modification, vritti. So buddhi is the faculty of thinking and jnana is the thought modification, vritti, which obtains in the buddhi. Even though there is no buddhi without vritti and no vritti without buddhi, there is a thinking faculty in general, and therefore we make this distinction that jnana obtains in the buddhi, while the buddhi has jnana in the form of a vritti. We make this distinction that jnana obtains in the buddhi, while the buddhi has jnana in the form of a vritti. Then again, the dhriti, resolve, is also threefold. This dhriti that he is going to talk about later is also another vritti obtaining in the buddhi. These two things then, the mind and the resolve, buddhi and dhriti, are being explained in a threefold way based on guna. This is now being told completely without leaving anything to be desired. Ase, asetaha, aseshataha, aseshataha. Here we have an introductory verse on which he is going to tell in the next three verses about dhriti and buddhi. We will see in general what kind of buddhi and dhriti are satviki, etc. Threefold divisions of the mind. First, the satviki buddhi is being told. How does it think? Will someone please read? I will take a long time to read.
Pravartincha प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च कार्याकारे भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धि सा पार्थ सात्विकी. You can read following
Okay.
analysis.
Yeah. Partha, O Arjuna, ya buddhihi, that mind which pravrittamcha, the pursuit of karma, nivrittamcha, and renunciation, karya, akarya, what is to be done and what is not to be done, bhaya, abhaya, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, bandham, bondage, mokshamcha, and freedom, vetti, knows, sa buddhi, that mind, satviki is satviki, partha, ya buddhi, pravirtam cha, nivritim cha, karya akarya, bhaya abhaya, bandhanam, moksham cha, veti, knows, sa buddhi, satviki is satviki. So, the mind which knows the pursuit of karma and renunciation, what is to be done and what is not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, and bondage and freedom, that mind, Arjuna, is Satviki. So, what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared, what is bondage, what is freedom. So, we must know about karma and akarma as well, renunciation as well. So you have to have all knowledge. Such a mind or buddhi is satviki. The satvika mind, the buddhi that knows these few things is satviki. What does it know? It knows that pursuit of karma, pravritti, is the cause of bondage. But when it is done as karma yoga, pravritti is the cause for moksha, because it involves karma phala tyaga, renunciation of the result of an action. Then it is not really pravritti but nivritti, because when there is renunciation, there is nivritti. Even though the person may be engaged in many activities, when these activities are done for the sake of mental purification, antakarana shuddhi, with an attitude of making an offering to Ishvara, Ishvara arpana, Ishvara arpana buddhya, Ishvara arpana buddhya. Then moksha, release from bondage is the result, which is not a karma phala, really speaking. Yeah. The mental purification, antakarna shuddhi, is only the removal of the antakarna's impurities, because every mind is already clean by nature. That is why everybody has sympathy, compassion, love, etc., which are the qualities of a pure antakarna. Nothing has to be created here. We only have to remove, in general, raga and dvesha. This is the term that we use for all the impurities like guilt, hurt, anger, and so on. Removing all of them is not a real result, but it is a getting rid of, and therefore a kind of tyaga. Sannyasa, of course, is nivritti, but even a karma yogi is not doing action for punya, for the sake of heaven or anything else. If he has moksha as the ultimate end in view, his buddhi has discrimination and is therefore sattviki. He knows exactly what he is seeking, purushartha. What is aimed at can be simple security or pleasure or dharma, to be exchanged later for security and pleasure. It is all the same. In order to get to and remain in heaven for some time, you must have the capital, which is punya. And again, you're going to enjoy heaven in terms of pleasures like music, dance, etc. It is the same old thing. All of them come under the bracket of samsara. He knows which he is not seeking any of these. He is seeking moksha, and this clear ascertainment of his pursuit leads him to the knowledge that the cause for bondage is pravritti. But knowing this, one may not know what is the cause for moksha. Since his buddhi is sattviki, he also knows that the cause for moksha is nivritti, which means knowledge, jnana, preceded by karma yoga or sannyasa. He knows exactly how to gain this knowledge. Anyone wants to share anything, or should I continue?
This is the clarity of mind that Gurudev keeps talking about. You're clear
Yeah.
in your mind as to what you want and what is the path, what is the way forward.
He knows that he is not seeking any of these. He is seeking moksha, and this clear ascertainment of his pursuit leads him to the knowledge that is the cause for bondage is pravritti.
And he's
Can you
clearly
read that
doing
about
it in
the
attitude of,
buddhi and jnana? Buddhi and jnana. That distinction is given, no? Can you read that 2 sentences?
Yeah, it's in the beginning, right? The buddhi
Yeah.
that knows, or the buddhi that knows these few things is sattvika. What does it know? It knows that pursuit of karma, pravritti, is the cause for bondage. But when it is done as karma yoga, pravritti is the cause for moksha, because it involves karma phala tyaga, renunciation of the result of an action. This is not really pravritti, but nivritti, because there is renunciation, there is nivritti. Even though the person may be engaged in many activities, these activities are done for the sake of mental purification, antakarana shuddhi, with an attitude of making an offering to Ishvara, Ishvara arpana buddhya, then moksha, release from bondage, is the result, which is not a karma phala, really speaking. Is this what you wanted, or buddhi and
No. Jnana.
buddhi and jnana, right?
Yeah.
Comes a bit later on.
Buddhi distinguishes and jnana modification. Some sentences are like that. Please read them.
Yeah. So this is not really tyaga, but it is not karma phala, really speaking. Mental purification, antakarna shuddhi, is only the removal of antakarna's impurities, because every mind is already clean by nature. So that is why everybody has sympathy, compassion, love, etc., which are the qualities of a pure antakarna. So here comes your thing. Nothing has to be created here. We only have to remove, in general, raga and dvesha. This is the term that we use for all impurity. like guilt, hurt, anger, and so on. Removing all of them is not a real result because it is the getting rid of and therefore a kind of tyaga. Sannyasi, of course, is nivritti, but even a karma yogi not doing action for punya for the sake of heaven or anything else. Okay. So sannyasi is also a karma yogi, but he's not doing anything for the sake of heaven or punya. If he has moksha as the ultimate end in view, his buddhi has discrimination. So moksha is your goal. So when you have that as in your view, then that his buddhi has discrimination and is therefore sattviki. He knows exactly what he is seeking. So purushartha, what is aimed at can be simple security or pleasure or dharma to be exchanged later for security and pleasure. It is all the same. In order to get to and remain in heaven for some time, you must have the capital, which is punya. And again, you're going to enjoy heaven in terms of pleasures like music, dance, etc. It is the same old thing. All of them come under the bracket of samsara. He knows he is not seeking any of these. He is seeking moksha. And this clear ascertainment of his pursuit leads him to the knowledge that the cause for bondage is pravritti. But knowing this, one may not know what is the cause for moksha. But since his buddhi is sattviki, he also knows that the cause for moksha is nivritti, which means knowledge, jnana, preceded by karma yoga or sannyasa. He knows exactly how to gain this knowledge.
So nivritti is only when there is like renunciation of the result of action is nivritti, right?
Yeah.
And when when we are doing the nitya naimitya karma, like suppose we are doing some prayers or some like the strotam, etc., and we have we don't have any desire for any result for it. We're just doing for the doing sake, like it's a nitya naimitya karma. So will it come in the category of nivritti or would it be pravritti? What like, or is it? So I am confusing two things into.
Pravritti is with an attitude of karma yoga as a karma yogi. If he does pravritti, then it becomes a means for moksha. You can either do a sannyasi or a karma yogi. So if you're
Can you
doing
repeat again what you just said?
you can either be a sannyasi or a karma yogi with respect to pravritti, right? So if you're taken the path of a karma yogi, then you do all your nitya naimitika karmas, but with the attitude of a karma yogi. That becomes nivritti.
Right.
As long as you're doing it to gain punya, to get into another beautiful space after death, and then all that is again into samsara, all that is pravritti again.
Pravritti.
It is not getting you out of samsara. So anything that you do.
Yeah, these are the broad classification of the karmas, pravritti and nivrittis. It is the type of karmas, no? That nivritti is what would you how would you define nivritti and pravritti?
Nivritti is those actions that take you towards moksha.
Right.
Anything
so they
that
are
takes
the type of karmas. They are the type of karmas. or the attitude? What
Yeah,
you
I think it's more the attitude than a type of karma. Nivritti is not real. Yeah, just a karma. It's not just karma. It is an attitude in your mind.
Right.
It is with jnana also, no?
Ultimately, you have jnana. So
Ah.
you choose nivrit. You have to, as a karma yogi, do pravritti. That is inevitable. You have to do that, but with an attitude of karma phala tyaga and ishwararpana buddhi. When you do these two, you're onto the path of nivritti.
Nivritti, right.
Towards moksha, because that is your own, the ultimate end is only moksha. You don't want anything else. You're not interested in dharma, artha, and kama. So nivritti marg is the moksha marg. Pravritti is into samsara. But then for the moksha marg, there are two lifestyles again. This is either karma yoga or sannyasa. Ultimately, the common end for both of them, common means ultimately to moksha, is jnana, through jnana. So he knows that, he understands that this is the path. And this clarity that he has in his mind is the sattvika dhriti.
And the attitude is, for both of them, is nivritti. For the himself. Right.
So why do we not take pravritti and nivritti as do's and don'ts? This is possible reading, but not here, because Krishna has separately said karya akarya. Karya means those actions that have to be done, such as enjoined karmas, vihita karmas, and akarya means those that are not to be done, prohibited actions. Pratisiddha karmas. Pratisiddha karmas. These are worldly do's and don'ts, such as traffic rules, tax laws, social norms, and Vaidika do's and don'ts, including not only rituals, but the universal values like truthfulness, non injury, non stealing, etc. There again, we require value education. If that is missing, a person may do the right thing and avoid the wrong thing, not because of proper thinking or conviction about right and wrong, but just because he is afraid of being caught. If you ask him a few questions about why he acts as he does, he eventually has no answer. In terms of worldly do's and don'ts, there are certain things that depend upon the time and place. What is acceptable at one time and place may not be at another, and sometimes subtle discrimination is required to determine this. The Shastra says one should not harm anyone. Himsam na kuryat, as does any government. But in the hunting season in Pennsylvania, you can get a license to hunt deer for 3 months because of the overpopulation of the deer. Just imagine. Suppose the deer population talks it over and decides Pennsylvania is getting overpopulated with humans. We should do something about it. And they start coming after the people with guns. Then we will understand how illegitimate this kind of thinking is. If we are at the other end, being hunted even for a day, we will understand what it means to be hunted. If you hunt, you can be sure somebody will hunt you later. Perhaps these deer were all Americans hunting deer before. We do not know. Any universal rule cannot be categorical. We have to interpret it according to time and place, taking into account a number of factors. Even a prescribed ritual cannot be done on any day at any time or with any oblation or mantra or in any sequence. People who are religious should know exactly what is to be done and what is not to be done if they are interested in punya and papa, etc. If they are interested in moksha, the knowledge of karya and akarya is much more clear and intimate because of the predominance of sattva in the mind. Should I continue or?
I think we'll stop here. Maybe we can go to this one more time tomorrow. My just wanted to share this. The aspect of antakarana is so beautifully mentioned here. Swamiji mentions there is nothing that you have to clean. You only have to remove the impurities. These values are already there. All these human values. I was linking that to the formation of the IHV that Gurudev talks about, uplifting human values. Human values are already there when a child is born. We only have to nurture them and remove all those impurities that are added. And these impurities come in the form of raga dvesha, which is why this antakarana shuddhi is so emphasized. And the way to get that is through karma yoga. So what we're doing essentially is removing all those little impurities by living a life free of raga dvesha, doing what is to be done. So when that antakarana shuddhi, then when that mind is therefore removed of all the impurities, what shines forth is just its true nature, which is the penultimate step to attaining moksha. In that state, then knowledge can dawn. That was really very beautiful. It's not like you're adding something, it's like you're removing. It's actually a process of removal. Yeah. Should we stop here? Yeah, please, it's your share, Sumaji.
I liked that like most of us do things because not because of moksha as the thing, but because we don't want to get caught or we don't want to disobey the law. So, but that is not sattvika, isn't it? Or is that also sattvika?
No, that is because you're doing it out of fear.
Okay.
Out of fear of the, see, I mean, I honestly, I don't want to take more time, but when we're arriving, there's a speed limit, so you're going beyond the speed limit. But when you see there's a camera or something, you tend to, I mean, I'm talking of myself, I tend to reduce the speed. So that is not sattvika. Because if you had kept to the speed limit right from the beginning, when you knew it was that speed limit, then that is sattvika. You're doing what is to be done. But out of fear of being caught by the camera, you are reducing your speed. That doesn't become sattvika. That is, you're doing it out of fear of the law. Right? Correct. Anyway, we'll take this up tomorrow. We'll close here today.
Just one thing, Shasan and Anushasan, these two words Gurudev has explained.
Yeah.
Shasan and Anushasan, self-discipline is needed on this path. And Shasan is by government, by laws.
Very true. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया